Computer-delivered IELTS, brought to you by Knowledge Island by Bilal.
In this first part of the exam, I'd like to ask you some general questions about yourself. Do you live in a busy area?
Yes, I do. My apartment is only a few minutes from a shopping centre, so there are always lots of people walking past my apartment, and the traffic can sometimes be a problem, especially during rush hour.
Do you have all the facilities you need close by?
Yes, I do. As I've just mentioned, we have all the shops we need close by. Not big stores, but food shops, banks, the kind of shops you need on a daily basis. There's also a great sports centre down the road.
Is it the kind of place where it's easy to get to know your neighbours?
Well, we know our neighbours on one side of our apartment. We always say hello and have a chat if we see each other, but it's not a close-knit community, so people don't have much to do with each other in general.
Let's talk about your future plans. Do you have any idea of what you will be doing in 10 years' time?
Not really. I'll be going to university this summer, so the next 4 years will be spent studying. After that, who knows? I haven't got any firm career plans yet.
Do you like to make plans for the future?
Definitely not. I think there's a time for that when you're older and you have more responsibility. I suppose I'm planning for my education, but apart from that, I'd just like to see what happens.
Are there any big changes about to take place in your life?
Well, I'm sure university will be a big change for me. I'll be moving away from my parents, so I'll be independent for the first time. I'm really excited about that, and a little nervous.
I'm going to give you a topic, and I'd like you to talk about it for 1 or 2 minutes. Before you talk, you have 1 minute to think about what you are going to say. You can make some notes if you wish. Here is your topic. Please start speaking now.
This is quite a difficult question, as there isn't anyone who stands out as having had a big influence, apart from my parents, of course, who've been great. But there was a teacher at secondary school. I have very fond memories of her, and I think she influenced me positively. I lost interest in school when I was about 13. I don't know why, but I became more interested in music and sport and didn't really pay attention to my studies. My teachers realised this was happening, and a lot of them seemed to give up on me. But Mrs. Thomas, she taught me art, really made an effort to get me back on track. To start with, she always insisted I sit at the front of the class, right in front of her desk. You see, one of the things I'd started to do was to sit at the back of the class with my friends and spend the lesson talking and mucking about, so making me sit at the front put a stop to that. She was also really kind. I could see she was on my side, if you know what I mean. She wanted to see me achieve my potential and was prepared to spend time getting me to focus on my studies. I don't know if it was just down to Mrs. Thomas, but I did get through that period okay in the end, and I got down to work in time to pass my exams. Some of it was down to me, but Mrs. Thomas helped me make the right decisions.
We've been talking about the impact that people can have on our lives. I'd like to discuss this subject with you with some more questions. People often say teachers had the biggest impact on their outlook on life. Why might this be?
Well, in my experience, The classroom was always somewhere you could discuss issues that you probably wouldn't be bothered to talk about at home, like politics, the environment, the subjects you're studying, and the teacher usually has interesting things to say. So, if you respect your teacher, you take them seriously, and you're likely to take on board some of the things they say.
In which ways can other people inspire or motivate us?
On the one hand, there are high-profile people, like sportsmen and women, who can have a big impact on us. But sometimes it's local people you see doing good things in your community. I think they can motivate us even more because they're ordinary people just like us. If they can serve the community, then so can I.
Who tend to be positive role models? Family members or media figures?
I think members of the family are by far the most important, especially close family, your mum and dad most of all. If your parents set a good example in terms of how to behave, how to treat other people, you can't help but learn these habits yourself. Media figures have an impact for sure, but not as much as your family.
Which historical figures do you think have had the most positive influence on the generations that came after them?
I can't think of any individuals, but it would be people who lived recently rather than centuries ago, and they're probably going to be leaders of some kind, otherwise they wouldn't feature in our history books. People like Gandhi, perhaps, who was a great example of a man who believed in peaceful protest.
Do people in the public eye have a responsibility to be good role models?
We talked about this at school once, and there were two different views. I think if you're in the media spotlight, especially if you have a young fan base, you need to act responsibly. But I know some people disagree and think celebrities are no different to anyone else really, that we all need to be good role models.
Which values would you like to pass on to your children?
I think it's important to be sensitive to other people's feelings, to be kind rather than cruel. Basically, to treat other people as you would like to be.
Thank you very much. That is the end of the speaking test.
Don't forget to comment, like, and share our video.